What is this? Oh, I remember this kind of infomercial. This is Jay Cordick. So I didn't have any promos for 95 to really show you, except what was like I did before last week. So they're really, it's not like the 70s and 80s when everybody came together and sang and danced. This wasn't the Broadway era of ABC and CBS. That's done. They don't put that effort anymore. Look at that, Jay Cordick and his juicer. But we're going to cover now. It's important to note that this is the final set of cartoons. Now it's going to be in two parts. Okay, the first part will be look at that. He loves his juicers. Now this might be a more recent one, but I mean Jay Cordick's been doing these infomercials for a long time, right? I think he's dead now, isn't he? Anyway, uh, you get all the vitamins and stuff from all the fruits. But this is the last year, 95 to 96, that I was a child. So these are the last cartoons that I did, that I watched as a child. Because I turned 18 in 1996. I also graduated high school. So this was important. So this is in two parts. The first part, we're going to look at ABC, CBS, NBC, and then the next one will be Kids WB. That's the Kids WB debut. That'll be next week. Okay, so if you can hold out. And I only focus on these cartoons that I have a personal connection with. Live food and live bodies. Yeah, I remember seeing one segment where he's drinking something, and we cut away from it. He never finishes his drink. It's just sometimes there's bad edits. Like, let me sample this food. Edit later. Oh, that was great. That was a great meal. Like, yeah, he spat it out. Anyway, we're going to be looking at Skeleton Warriors. We're going to be looking at Reboot, the Mask animated series, and Ace Ventura, and probably Spider-Man. And we're going to look at some little bit of cartoons around it. But mostly we're going to focus on those four things, okay? Last set of cartoons as a child. Not the same as the 70s and 80s. So let's start with the first one. Let's get out of this nonsense. Oh, what did I collect? The most memorable thing from that time period. Anyway, they're going on and on. But this is the last game I bought as a minor. I barely started this game, and by the time I continued playing it, I was 18 years old. And I still have the guide somewhere. And yeah, I mean, soon, I think I didn't get the N64 until 97. But I still collected comic books and all that. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the cartoons.
Next time, remind me not to be so close when I fire those rockets.
Arachila, oh, speak to me. Good, you're feeling better.
These are the tales of the Skeleton Warriors.
Ah, yes. Now, this was like one of the last. This cartoon actually came out in 94, but I know it reran. I transferred from high school to high school. I went to an all boys school. And then I went to high school in Montebello in 1995. I took summer school because my grades weren't so good. But I can distinctly remember this cartoon. Now, some people say maybe and it had action figures too. The action figures were cool. Every action figure came out except for the Jennifer Hale one, the redhead. She didn't get her own action figure. Boo on her. But Shriek got one. And Baron, I forgot his name, the Baron, got his own figure. James Stephanie Sterling, or Jim Sterling, liked to talk about Skeleton Warriors. Favorite cartoon. It lasted one season, 13 episodes. And I really enjoyed it. I guess it ended when it needed to end. It didn't have a lot of fancy stuff to it. Basically, the whole setup is that this one guy was greedy with power. Unlike Keldor, who became Skeletor, this guy wanted to get ultimate power, and he tricked Grimskull, the guy who became kind of half skeleton, half person, into getting this ultimate power, and it turned the Baron into a skeleton, and then he transformed his army into skeletons just by touching them. You could actually rip out the jewel from their pelvic area and turn them back into humans. So I liked Shriek, who was what is it? Vanessa Papas, I think, or Valerie Papas, did the voice of Shriek, and Jennifer Hale did the redhead. I forgot the redhead's name. I just remember Shriek. It was a Shriek was like Evil Lynn, and there was another that one you saw right there was like the Lucky. That guy was like Beast Man or Trapjaw, kind of like it was kind of like He-Man, you know. But at the end of this, the Baron, who's the bad guy, gets like this gold armor, like battle armor Skeletor, and the good guys and the bad guys fight. The Fleshies and the Skeleton Warriors fight each other one last time. And then I guess the Baron dies, and that's the 13th episode, and that was the end of it. So it ended when it needed to end. I guess it could have been more adventures, but that was about it. Not every cartoon needed to have like 20 years of story, but I mean, that's how it was. In a way, it kind of filled the void because there were no He-Man and Skeletor, there was no Masters of the Universe, and we wouldn't see any for about 7 years. So 7 years until the next cartoon, but this kind of filled the void left behind by Masters, particularly the Space He-Man stories. And now for some commercials.
These messages, we'll be right back.
Old school, right?
Bye, baby.
I love my bundle of babies, just like my mommy loves me. A stroll through the park. Hi, babies, too. Say hi. A fun picnic lunch.
Thank you, Luke.
Special surprises and hugs by the bunch.
Bundle of babies.
Oh, forgettable toys.
Pouch, plus 5 surprise
I
presents.
love my bundle of babies, just like my mommy loves me.
Oh God, I could
Stroller not included.
blow my head off, please.
Honey Nut Cheerios may look little, but the taste is so big your eyes won't believe your mouth.
Honey, that's big.
Oh, I do remember this one.
Don't give me any lip, it's small.
Honey Nut Cheerios, but it's packed with a big, sweet honey nut taste that's part of
Who
the
still eat?
sweet
Remember, we just had two kinds of Cheerios. We had Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios, and now we have 25 Cheerios.
Now you can get 3 Goosebumps milk caps.
Oh yes, back when we collected Pog tournaments and shit.
It's X marks the spot.
Oh, computer graphics. What do we think of next?
Ricochet delivers exhilarating, unstoppable power with total twin body design. Drive it like you hate it. Firestorm explodes off the line as expanding RPM tires take it over 200 scale miles per hour. And Stunt Boss 360 gives you extraordinary control that makes you the Stunt Boss.
Oh my God, my camera cannot handle this. It's intense. All right, let's look at some ABC stuff. Now, they made a new version of the intro for the Bugs and Tweety show. Very different. Very different from the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, right? And the Bugs and Tweety show would last another 6 years, until like 2000. Look at all that redrawing. That's post Tiny Toons. And see, the hat doesn't fall on Tweety. Now, I'm hoping you remember this Schoolhouse Rock. It was a 90s one, but it's memorable.
Mr. Morton
Ah, yeah, remember this one.
is the subject of our tale.
This is all part of the Grammar Rock,
Down the street,
but they hadn't made a lot of great
Mr.
ones.
Morton walks. Mr. Morton talked. Hello, cat. You look good. Mr. Morton was loose, and what the predicate says he does. Mr. Morton grew flowers for Pearl. Mr. Morton grew. Morton was Mr. Morton.
But does he get the girl?
Subject of the sentence.
If you know this, you know what happens.
Says he does. Morton wrote. Pearl replied in the afternoon. Pearl replied by a note. Midnight. Mr. Morton sat on her porch. Yes, he just sat there and rocked. Mr. Morton was a nervous man. When she opened up the door, he ran. Until Pearl showed up with a single rose. Who says women can't propose? Now Mr. Morton is happy and perfect of the sentence. And what the predicate says, they do.
Now, I might remember this one.
Okay.
Not as well as I
favors
should.
for Mr. Megavirus. I'm gonna file myself right here to make sure he doesn't trash this place again.
Can I help Bob, huh? This'll be cool. We'll show him what you Guardians are made of. We'll edit, backslash, and cancel his command. I'm not afraid of old Mega Breath. Bail!
The net through systems, peoples, and cities to this place.
Yeah. I don't remember too fondly this cartoon. The only reason I'm bringing this up is this is the first CGI cartoon, especially for Saturday mornings. Now, first CGI I remember seeing is in like music videos. Definitely not Michael Jackson Thriller, but of course Star Wars had the first kind of computer graphics you would ever see. And then you would see them in commercials and ads. And then I remember Jetsons the movie. Remember Jetsons the movie from 1990, the last one with Mel Blanc and George O'Halloran? As George Jetson, they had the future city. They would move to the future city. And they did this really cool CGI version of the opening for Jetsons, you know? But here we are in 1995, and this was Reboot. And I do remember the images, and that was Tony Jay as the villain. Tony Jay, what a great voice actor for villains. So he was really good at it. Was it Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver? Yeah. So this was the beginning. After this, you had Transformers Beast Wars. You had the 90s Voltron. You had Cubics, Robots for Everyone. And I don't know. I mean, you see CGI and everything, but this was like the beginning. And it was like, I think it was like maybe a season or two. It didn't last too long, much like Skeleton Warriors. Yeah, it was just a fun time to look at this stuff. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, there's one more thing I could show you for ABC. Now what you're looking at is the final version of ABC Weekend Special. This is all that's left, because after this would be One Saturday Morning, Disney's One Saturday Morning. But this was the end of it. No OG Read More, probably reruns and shit. This is it. All that's left. Goodbye, Weekend Special. We hardly knew ye. Oh, fuck that. My sisters had a dollhouse. I think my mom helped make this dollhouse for her, for my three sisters. It just looked like old decrepit wood from the 70s. Ugh. What is this shit? Why? No. No. Awful. That's enough.
Hey, yo, check this out. What do you do when you're off on drugs?
Take it.
Drug-free's the way to
I kind of remember these two.
You're kind of new to this card thing, aren't you?
Oh, this is when Jeff Foxworthy had that, well, this is when comedians were still having, like, sitcoms.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Kill me.
Then, Junior's got a new spin on life.
Way to be cool, huh?
Good old Betty White.
Oh, maybe this time after Jeff Foxworthy, Saturday.
Oh, shit. What's this one?
It's real Susan Stalin hair, like Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, God, more Cabbage Patch.
Right here, then you curl it, you make a crimp right here. She's got beautiful hair. You do the styling hair thing, pretty looks from here to there. Hold my styling hair kit. Style magic spray here, a purple curl there. We mix it all with you. You style her like you want to. The look is up to you.
Yeah.
We love our styling hair kit. Cabbage Patch Kids.
All right, fuck this. Let's go to, let's go to CBS, I think. Oh, wait, we gotta see this before we go.
Cartoon Man, how'd you do that?
Give me a Cocoa Pebbles and I'll show you.
Okay.
Tongue twisting chocolatey taste.
Barney, you're no cartoon.
Wanna bet?
Who's got cereal? Part of this complete breakfast.
All right, moving on.
Get French car free, only from Pebbles.
Hot Wheels Flintmobile.
Oh, yeah.
One free with mail and card on
They still make those.
Not, I repeat, not its mommy.
Mommy, I'm so glad to have you as my mommy. Mommy, you're so big and strong and big. I want to be big and strong and big just like you. You are my mommy. Aren't you my mommy, Mommy?
Of course Cause I'm your mommy.
And who's he, Mommy? Is he my repass, Mommy? Could you bring him
shit,
in
he's
for
gonna
me?
eat him.
Is he my food? Because he sure is scrawny. Why is he so scrawny, Mommy?
No, that's not your food, Junior. That's your Uncle Timon. Isn't he the handsomest what are you?
I do remember this cartoon very well. This was like sometimes. So it's basically the adventures of a meerkat and a warthog, or Timon and Pumbaa. Kind of a spin-off of The Lion King. Actually, this cartoon was so popular, they had The Lion King 1.5, in which you would follow. It's actually the story of The Lion King from their point of view, a parallel story, I guess. And I think even what is it? Even Simba had a couple of appearances, appeared a couple of times. And it's kind of like it had the same humor as Marsupilami. It was basically the same kind of humor. I don't think there was ever a crossover, as far as I could tell. There could have been, but this one, between this one and Aladdin, the animated series, we don't see the Gilbert Gottfried parrot anywhere. Anyway, I guess doesn't matter. These were the last of the Disney appearances on CBS. Because everything on ABC, all the animated stuff would move over, all the Disney stuff would move over to ABC for the one Saturday morning. And actually, this is the last time you see the traditional characters on network. Jesus but fucking Christ notifications. Anyway, so yeah, the last of Aladdin and the last of Timon and Pumbaa, the last of Raw Tunage. I do believe Bonkers did have... I think Bonkers was one of the last cartoons outside of ABC on KCAL 9, like in the afternoons, I think. I'm really trying to remember. Or was it on CBS? I think there was a Bonkers cartoon on CBS, or... I don't remember now. I'm really trying to remember. My Disney memory's fading, much like Disney Company. All right, let's go on to the next CBS thing.
I don't know, but I've been told. Find some shorts and grab a hold. Wedgie! Hands off the briefs, Bob. I don't want your undergarments. I just want to see if the planets revolve around your moon. Space! Okay. Well, I guess it's okay if you come along, but I get to be captain.
No, I do.
No.
I have not seen that crossover since it aired. And I was like, like 18, 19 years old. Holy shit. Things I have not seen in a long time. So that was, I think it was Rob Paulson as The Mask. And it's basically, it's Stanley Ipkiss with the mask. And then it's got his dog, Arlo or Fido or Philo, I think. What are those names? And then you had this this guy with spider legs, Mr. Ipkiss, I will get your mask, or whatever it is. I don't know. There's always a villain. I mean, it tried to be like the movie, but the movie is the movie, right? With Jim Carrey. This was like a Jim Carrey thing without Jim Carrey having any involvement whatsoever in this. It was like, you know what? If Jim Carrey does cameo, I will ask him. I don't know how much he's going to charge. If Jim Carrey's going to charge too much money or little money. But somebody's got to ask him what he thought of that crossover. Really, it's just... So, I mean, this was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I think I honestly liked as Ace Ventura. So he had Spike, and he always got on his landlord's nerves. And it was more... I mean, it was more comedy. The Mask tried to be more serious, but I mean, I don't know. It's just... The Mask was more comic book, and it was based on, I think, Dark Horse property. I think, if that's the case, I'm not sure what's going to happen. They tried to make the son of the Mask, and that was shit. And then, yeah, I don't think Jim Carrey's ever coming back to this. And there was a Dumb and Dumber cartoon on ABC, but these two are probably the better ones. That's why they had the fucking crossover. Of course, there was no way I was going to end that segment and this segment without showing you the toys. There's Philo. It's a pencil topper. I'm not sure if this was from Taco Bell. It might have been from Burger King. So let's transform that. And there he is. There's Dog Mask. Looks like a dead dog there. And let's do this one. People on TikTok used to love this one. This was the one they used to love. So there's Ace, right? And you think that's all there is. And then you take this out. There's the penguin, right? But where's Spike? There's Spike. And now for some more commercials. Oh, I remember this one. I thought this was the Chuck E. Cheese one. But this is Burger King. The fucking Burger King kids. Oh my god. Yes, now show us the toy.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue.
Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
Burger King has Toy Story.
Is this the one with the black and white one? No, this is the first series. I have the black and white one, the marionette.
Thank you all. Thank you.
The old school Woody. Yeah, great.
Watch my flowers grow. I'm Flower Magic Mary. Her flower magic pens filled with gorgeous flowers. Smells pretty. You can make them magically bloom anywhere.
I don't think we've ever seen that toy again.
Flower magic, pretty flowers I can share with Flower Magic Mary. Flower Magic Mary makes flowers bloom. Like magic.
Some woman who collected this toy is gonna take that toy apart and figure out how to make a lot more money. Tyco. They used to make like fake Legos.
I've had the same friends since I was a little kid. But this year, some of them started playing with these other kids. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's cool making new friends and all, but they weren't like us. They were, different.
Oh.
And I heard my big brother saying some pretty bad stuff about people like them.
Oh
But they seemed
shit.
pretty cool, and we had a pretty good time. So, maybe my brother doesn't know everything.
Hey, Carla, come on, we need you.
Don't be afraid.
That is what life is all about. Now, I do remember the Tick, but not as fondly as I would like to have. It was a fun cartoon, but I'm more attached to the live-action sitcom and not the Netflix one. But this was cool. I mean, I like all the outrageous adventures they have. Because you could do it in a cartoon. You couldn't do it in live action. At least not on a TV budget. And I do remember Life with Louie. I do remember the cartoon. Yeah, I remember a genie who liked Louie. So I remember Louie. Louie Anderson, rest his soul. He did this cartoon with he played the father and the son, and he had the friends at school. And this is the one where he wanted to get a pet, and he wanted to get a cat or a dog, and the mom would say he'd lick the butter. This was like, there was just so many cartoons. I think they made like maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and I do remember Mary Wicks, who was in one of the nuns in Sister Act, and she passed on. She played the grandma. One of the more memorable episodes. Yeah, so it's this one I remember the most.
Disruptor blast.
Oh my god. I didn't realize that's James Avery as War Machine.
Who are you? Your offspring. Offspring? Yes.
Oh yeah, the original crossover here.
Our flame-headed friend sent us to get this. Call us Carnage.
Carnage? There's another symbiote? Sorry to interrupt the reunion.
We hoped we'd run into you again.
LJN. Now this is the Spider-Man animated series for the Super Nintendo. But I really enjoyed that. This was my first real exposure. Well, my second. No, my third. The first time I watched a Spider-Man cartoon was the original 1967 one. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, right? And then the second one was Spider-Man is an Amazing Friends, and I showed that one earlier. And now we get to the 90s version. And I even enjoyed the MTV one that was kind of loosely based on the movie, the first movie. And I think those first 4 series were the best ones. I didn't care for Spider-Man Unlimited or Spectacular, kind of, but not really. But I would say the 94 Spider-Man had the most complex stories. You had Mark Hamill as the Hobgoblin, Roscoe Lee Brown as the Kingpin, James Avery as War Machine, as I just learned. You had, You had John Vernon as Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange. So many people. And I don't even know who voiced Spider-Man. That's how dumb I am. We got introduced to Madam Web, Mary Jane, so many different characters. There was like a Firestar character that looked like Mary Jane, but this was the real Mary Jane. And remember that she fell through remember Green Goblin had Mary Jane and threw her through a portal? Of course, in the comic books, it was Gwen Stacy and she broke her neck. But at the end of there was the original Spider-Verse. Before Into the Spider-Verse, you had 94 Spider-Verse. You had all these different Spider-Men that this Spider-Man would run into. And Madam Web would take him through the portal through the different universes. And at the end, they'd say they're going to go find the real Mary Jane, because the Mary Jane that came back to him was a Hydro Man clone or whatever it was. I don't know. And there was so much emotion. I mean, yeah, he cracked jokes because he was fucking Spider-Man. But he really, like, true to heart, he was like the Spider-Man we always thought about. And I think of all the ones, yeah, the 60s had the original stories. And the 80s had a lot of fun stories for ABC. But it wasn't until Fox, much like X-Men, the Fox stories with Spider-Man were one of the best. Venom and Carnage, all those stories were really good. And you just couldn't top it. I think the last episodes were in 99 or 2000. I still remember fondly the Spider-Man episode that ran at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a rerun, by the way. This was long after the final episodes. And then they cut away to a special report about a guy who who ended himself with a shotgun on a freeway and then set the truck on fire with his dog in it. That was horrific. So they made a point not to show like that kind of stuff during cartoons, but they don't even have cartoons anymore. What an end of an era. But what do they have now? Whatever Spider-Man cartoon passes for entertainment on Disney XD, it's shit now. But this is the best stuff, I guess. By the way, I don't have this particular Spider-Man game. I just have Maximum Carnage. If anybody played this game, the animated series, tell me how it went. I just have Batman games and shit. Oh, there was a Spider-Man X-Men crossover. And now let's conclude. I hope you had as much fun watching these as I did putting them up. I don't know if I'll get copyright claimed. I try my best, probably either for Mr. Morton or Reboot or Spider-Man or whatever. There's Pokemon stuff as we're getting to the late 90s, but that's not yet. The second half will be Kids WB, and that'll be next week. I hope you can stay tuned for that. If you like this video, you know what to do. I will be soon making up a playlist for all the Saturday mornings from 78 to 2018, I guess, however I'm going to do it.